Well, good morning guys. Welcome to the amazing Aussie bush. How good a spot is this? This is fantastic. I'm out for a bit of a 3-day trip with my mate Adam, who you've seen from previous videos. We got here late last night. I think we started walking at about 8:30 and we walked in under headlamp. It was a pretty tricky walk. We walked, I think we descended about 500 vertical meters and yeah, came through a pretty good trail to get to the river. Parked the car up the top of the cliffs and walked all the way down. Saw an amazing frog on the trail, probably one of the biggest ones I've seen out here. Drop a comment below if you know what it is. Pretty challenging walk in, especially under headlamps. This area got a lot of rain yesterday, and so all the undergrowth was just full of water. You're brushing past it, you're getting completely soaked, and yeah, obviously pretty slippery. And when you're walking along a river at night time and yeah, all we've got is a small circle of light. It's yeah, pretty challenging stuff. So it's fun though. It was interesting, and yeah, I've done this walk a few times before, but doing it under headlamp, yeah, it's difficult to see the same markers and to see the yeah, the landmarks, because you can't see them, because all you can see is what your headlamp picks up. So yeah, it's a very challenging walk. Good fun though, and we yeah, hiked in over some rocks. Picked a way through a little sort of pinch in the river where the cliff came down, and then yeah, stumbled through the bush for a bit and finally found a pretty cool spot to camp. So you can see that the river's up. Yeah, like I said, there's been a lot of rain yesterday, but I hadn't realised just how much rain this area had previously, because yeah, the river is flowing pretty well. I put a couple of markers down in the river last night just to keep track of the water level. We do have a pinch point back near the exit point to get back to the car, and so do want to keep an eye on the water level to make sure we're not going to get stuck here. I reckon it might be coffee time. Yeah, what do you reckon? Let's head back and fire up the twig stove or the campfire, and yeah, let's get the billy on. So because everything's wet, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get the twig stove fired up. I have found this stringy bark eucalypt. You can see the bark on this side of the tree, because it has a bit of a lean, is pretty dry. So this stuff can be really useful as a fire starter. You can see if you start to work all the fibres in there, that's quite a good fire starter. So we'll grab some of that, and then yeah, let's get the billy on. That's very good. It's probably one of the better coffees I've had out in the wilderness today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
So unfortunately, you guys, just got a bit of porridge this morning. Might have a more exciting breakfast tomorrow, but yeah, porridge is going to have to do the job today. Coffee certainly is doing the job, that's for sure. So last night, after we found the campsite and set up, I think it was about midnight, and yeah, everything was soaking wet. Managed to get the fire going and got that cranking, which is awesome. And then yeah, cooked up a couple of steaks, and they were pretty spectacular. I initially tried to cook my steak on a piece of bark. That wasn't as successful, and then transitioned out to a fork that we carved from a couple of branches, and yeah, nice bit of steak spice. Those steaks are just so good. Absolutely great way to finish a tough walk under headlamp. So as good as this spot is, I think we might wander downstream a bit further today, do a little bit of exploring, and yeah, see if we can't find ourselves a couple of nice pools to have a fish in. Yeah, we've got a bit of another cunning plan for dinner tonight. So need to find a find a campsite with some resources that we can utilise for the cooking of the dinner. It's going to be fun. Alrighty, breakfast is pretty average, to be honest. The old porridge gruel.
Speak for yourself.
The old porridge gruel. It's always a bit tough to eat sometimes, but it'll do the job. Time to pack up. Oh, the day's getting on a bit. It's about 10 o'clock now. We've just been having a very lazy morning after our sort of late night walk in. But yeah, time to pack up. Well, good afternoon. Well, it's not really, but it did take about an hour or so of mucking about to pack up. But yeah, everything's squared away. You can't even tell we've been here. Just the way it should be. I am just going to carry the fishing rod in case we come across a nice pool and the opportunity presents itself. Adam's got the same setup. So yeah. So I think we've got about 2 kilometres or so, maybe just a touch over, to walk downstream, and that'll involve quite a few crossings, probably 2 or 3 crossings at least, maybe another 2 or 3 on top of that, where we're crossing from side to side of the river. Unfortunately, the river pinches on different sides up against the cliffs, and so you have to cross to the other side. And when the water's up like this, that can be quite challenging, so we'll just have to see how we go. The first one is only 100 metres from camp, so shouldn't take too long until we find out what we're in for the rest of the day. But yeah, should be good fun. Moment of truth, first river crossing. It's always fun when you've got nice dry boots and socks to walk straight through the middle of the water. Oh. There's definitely a bit of flow in that. This next section is going to be quite challenging, I think. Pays to take this slow, make sure you got each foothold. Fortunately, we're not too deep. Whoop. So crossing rivers can actually be really, really dangerous. I have a lot of experience doing this sort of thing. I'm certainly no expert, but my comfort level and ability to engage in this level of risk is probably different to others. That being said though, if I ever find myself in a situation I'm not comfortable in, I'm going to stop and I'm going to come up with a different plan. Every time I come here, I just get blown away by this view. I think I came here probably about 6 months ago and had a fish and yeah, managed to get myself a bass. And I started filming that trip, but for whatever reason, it just wasn't working out for me, so I didn't end up putting a video out. I did include a little bit of footage of the bass in a subsequent video. But yeah, I think I might have a little bit of a fish here, see how we go. Jeez, water is up. Well, no luck. We had I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so just fishing this pool. The conditions aren't great. Obviously we're in full sun, so, and the water's up, but we did have a fish jump right in front of Adam, so it's encouraging. So we're going to cross to the other side. There's a bit more shade there. Looks like there might be a little bit more structure, and we'll have a crack there, and then we'll keep heading downstream. So yeah, we're just going to cross the river and going to check out, just on the other side of where we were fishing, is a place I've camped at a few times, and I've done a video there, like I think it was called Bushcraft Camp in a Australian river gorge or something like that. I'll link it up or somewhere below. Oh yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting crossing here. It's a lot deeper and wider than was that you? That was a fish. Wow. So it looks like fishing the structure here is the way to go. Well, yeah. Maybe we should put a quick line in here. So no luck again, but we had a couple of fish jump right in front of us. So they're definitely active and they're in the water. So it's just a matter of figuring out where they are and then what's going to get their interest in terms of a lure. So this is a pretty sketchy river crossing, and I'm going to give it a go, but I'm hoping I don't fall in or slip because I've got the microphone on the GoPro and that'll be the end of the GoPro. So it's going to take it really slowly, one step at a time. Basically just sliding 1 foot, making sure I've always got one good contact. I'm about knee deep. Alright, now I'm in the main channel. Stuff's getting interesting. Alright, 1 foot at a time. Okay, just in the deepest part, I think. Whew, hopefully it doesn't get much deeper. Oh, rock. The water's really turbid, so you can't see anything. Of course, I've got a very heavy backpack on, which makes me want to tip over. Slippery rocks, good combo. All right, almost out of, oh jeez. Oh, far out. Alrighty. Have we crossed? Adam is making his way across. Well, that was pretty sketchy. Just came across two juvenile snakes sitting in the leaf litter. So one I saw and one I didn't see until I was stepping, so that was pretty dodgy. Anyway, they're only small and it was all good. We've just come across the site that I've camped at a couple of times before. Some of you may recognise this. There's quite a few of these weeds that have come up which weren't here last time when I was in just towards the end of winter or maybe early spring. But yeah, lots of grass. Oh, we got a kayaker. Don't see that very often. I think because the water level's up, it's actually now feasible to do a lot more of the river and on a boat, so yeah, that's probably why. Anyway, I think we're both pretty peckish after a little bit of wandering and a bit of fishing, so I think, yeah, lunchtime, and then yeah, going to try and push a bit further downstream, so not a bad spot though. Lunch wasn't bad. We're just figuring out what to do. So trying to figure out where to camp and where to aim, because we've got to be back pretty early on. We've got another 2 nights here, but we've got to be back pretty early on the Monday. So we're just trying to figure out how far to push down so we can actually get back to the car at a reasonable hour. But yeah, we're just going to push down to the next as far as we can on this side and see what the next crossing's like, and then we'll just play it by ear. We can always camp here and have a bit of fun, because we know this is a great campsite. But yeah, I'm pretty keen to explore a bit further down too, so we'll just push down a little bit further and see if we can't get ourselves a fish. Stuff's pretty thick, isn't it? Weed's unbelievable.
On the other side, like if you've got over the other side of that little bank tree there?
Yeah, we can just go up a bit higher. So we're just figuring out where the best place to cross is. And you may be wondering why I'm wearing a headlamp on my hat. It's I may have left it in a pocket that got submerged with water instead of packing away in my dry bag, so I'm trying to dry it out. Hopefully it works. Oh, the old lawyer vine. We've just been walking down from lunch, I don't know, maybe an hour. We take it pretty slow. Found a really nice spot in the river. So I'm going to have a, whoop, there you are. So I found a really nice spot in the river. I think we're going to hang out here for half hour or so to see how we go with the fishing. So you're not going to be surprised to hear that there hasn't been any luck in the fish. We fished here for about maybe 15 to 20 minutes. I don't think we can access the right bits of structure where the fish are going to be hiding. So what we've decided to do is to head back to the spot where we had lunch and set up camp there. And we'll use that as a bit of a base for the next couple of days. It's a good spot, it's open, there's flat ground. And it's pretty safe, so it's a little bit higher than the river, and there's no chance of sort of rock falls and that kind of thing. So I'm gonna put the camera away, and we're gonna hightail it back there. Hopefully it only take us sort of half hour, 45 minutes without stopping, and then yeah, I think we're gonna just relax and cook up some awesome dinner. Yeah, it didn't take very long to get back from the other spot. I think we did it in about 20 minutes, so that's pretty cool. The weather's looking a bit more iffy, so we're just gonna quickly put the tarps up so we've got some shelter, and then we'll worry about sort of collecting firewood and getting set up for the night. So it's 3 o'clock, we've got lots of time. We'll have about 4.5 hours of light left. Just got a few drops of rain, so got to hustle here. Camp's all set up, and it's a bit later than we were hoping, so we're probably going to scale back our very ambitious dinner plans. Still going to be pretty amazing though. I've just found some native paper barks, and these things, if they're dry, you scrape them. It's like a birch bark or you know, that kind of tinder. Really effective tinder. So this is the tree here, or the plant. And you can see the bark just peels off. This stuff's actually quite damp, so I don't know how good it's going to be, but this might take a spark still. So we'll collect some of that, and we'll get the fire on because we're going to need some hot coals. Keep it down, mate. Alrighty. Camp's all set up. There was a bit of rain before, and we had a few drops. It's quite humid, which is unfortunate because we're a little bit damp from walking through the water. But yeah, everything's set up, so I'll show you Adam's set up too. Adam's bushcrafting something for dinner, so that's going to be pretty exciting. You can see his hoochie set up there, and we've got some water filtering as well. So, collected some natural tinders. We've got a little bit of firewood. We want to get the fire started pretty quickly because we've got a decent chunk of meat to roast, and don't want to give too much away. It's going to be pretty amazing, but we've got to get the fire going. So, trusty leather gloves. I'm going to get the fire pit set up. Alrighty, so we've got the fire pit cleaned up, and just a line of rocks around 3 sides to give a little bit of wind protection and to allow us to control it. We're really close to the river, and it's been raining, so absolutely no concerns. There's also no fire bans in this area, so important to check that as well. And what I'm doing now is just scraping along with the edge of my knife just to get some dust and get a lot of surface area, and I'm hopeful that this will take a spark. Now it is damp, it has rained a lot, and so this might not work, but I'm hopeful might be able to get something. Whoop. Okay, so we're getting a spark and we're getting some flame, but it's quite damp, so it's going to be a bit fiddly, and we'll have to get the tinder on there pretty quickly to try and get a flame. Might just add some pine needles from the native she oaks to try and help catch a bit of a spark. Oh, we're so close. Oh, close. Hey. Well, we had to work for it, and it's not there yet. Lost it. Oh, come on, you good thing. Well, I think we might concede defeat and use the lighter. Obviously, if we had to, we'd keep going, but we have a lighter, so we're going to take the easy way out today. We weren't far off it, we're very close. So you can see we've got the fire going. It's taking a bit of work. You can probably hear a lot of the wood is quite wet, and so it's sizzling as the water sort of starts to evaporate out of there. I don't normally cut wood with a saw for firewood because you don't really need to in Australia, but because we've got a rather nice chunk of meat to cook on the coals, we want to get those coals happening pretty quickly, and so the best way to do that is lots of hardwood, and we can get more on there if we cut it to size rather than sort of getting big bits and crossing it over. So we've got more control with the fire, we get it producing more coals. Oh, perfect. So this may be coming clearer now in terms of the dinner plan, but I've got a really nice piece of beef roast. I've got some herbs and spices and a little bit of garlic, and Adam's just whittled up here a little bushcraft rotisserie. Now normally I only just use the Y branches, but Adam's got a very good idea with a little joining piece here that will just keep downward pressure on the end of the rotisserie, so it's going to keep it from falling into the fire. So that's pretty nifty. So I think the theory is that the hanging the billy above the fire makes it cook or boil quicker. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because I can't be bothered, so I normally just put it in the fire.
I just like the look of it when it's hanging.
It does look good, there's no doubt about that. Well, unfortunately we're out of beer, so you're going to have a little sneaky spiced rum and a little sniff through whiskey. Cheers, mate. The thing I love about this spot is that rocky outcrop up there. That's awesome. So dinner's going to be a little while off, several hours of slow rotisserie action. So we're having a little entree. It was actually quite a difficult day today. There was lots of walking, challenging to try and find your feet when you're going across the rivers. Lots of slippery rocks, and then really thick vegetation and very weedy, so very difficult to see where you're going. So always looking very carefully for snakes. We saw two. But yeah, it's been pretty warm today as well, so, and then muggy and then raining, so a bit of everything. But long story short, having some 2-minute noodles just as a bit of an entree. Yep, gonna finish those, and then we might start thinking about preparing the meat, I think. Are you ready for the next level bushcraft dinner? It's about 1.4 kilos of beef. And yeah, we're going to slowly rotisserie grill this on the hot coals. So I've got a few cloves of garlic, and I'm going to just poke a few holes in the beef and get some of these cloves in there. Now this is a reasonably fatty cut, and so it does need to be slow cooked, and so I'm expecting this is probably going to take about 3 hours or so. It's about 20 past 5 at the moment, so let's say 8:39 we should be good to go. So it's pretty exciting. Adam's just putting the finishing touches on the rotisserie, make sure it goes in there nice. Okay, so in here I've just got a 50-50 blend of Montreal steak spice and Cajun seasoning. So I just want to rub that over there. I did wash my hands as best you can out here. Want a nice coating, like a rub. Voila. Alright, moment of truth. I did poke a little hole in there just to oh yeah. So what we're going to try and do first is give it a really quick sear on the hot fire, and then once it's sealed in, we're going to let it just do its thing above the coals. I think some of the garlic's about to fall off, but that's okay because there's plenty in there. Lots of spice, so it should be plenty of flavour. Oh, glorious. Oh, garlic down. Oh yeah, that's got a nice sear on it already. That works a treat, doesn't it? That little end piece holds it in place.
Yeah.
So I drew the short straw, trying to get some firewood. That because it's such a big bit of meat, it's going to need a lot of coals, and yeah, we've got to keep that fire fed, so it's worth it. So that's actually really hard work cutting firewood with a handsaw. I don't recommend it. I feel sorry for the Canadians, the Americans and the Europeans who have to do that for their firewood. We're lucky we generally don't have to do it, but it's worth it for something like this where you can control the heat and get a nice bit of coals. So I'm very pleased to say that the camera which I broke on my last trip, I didn't break it. So my dad used to be a camera repairman. He had a little business and the fixed cameras, and it just happened the weekend after I went on that trip. I was visiting my sister interstate, and my parents were there, and so I showed it to Dad, and he somehow managed to click the lens back into place, and so yeah, the camera lives for another day, so pretty stoked about that. I do want to say a huge thank you. I did have a subscriber reach out to ask if they could contribute to a new camera. Thank you so much, it was really appreciated. Thankfully it wasn't needed, but yeah, glad that that's one lives to fight another day. There you have it, guys. Look at this meat, it's just falling apart. Beautiful slow cooked beef, some nice green beans, Oh, it's gonna be so good. Oh, the green beans are amazing. Got a nice chunk of meat here. Oh, so good. The spice, the garlic, the smoke from the wood. It's really just, yeah, there's something else. We did have, I'm going to be really honest, we had very grand plans for a very elaborate bushcraft rotisserie grill, and I'll leave it at that because I think we'll come back and do it at some point in the future. But it certainly wasn't going to be a manual grill, it was going to be automated, and who knows if we can ever make it work, but I think we'll have to come out in the future and try it again. This food is so amazing, really good.
Bit lower.
This one's a bit.
Yeah, chop it up.
Oh, come on with the hammer. Hammer faster, damn it. Perfect. Is that the worst breakfast you've had up in the bush?
Terrible.
Terrible. Hey guys, it's been a pretty lazy day today. We've just relaxed, had a lot of fruitless hours fishing. I must have put about 2 or 3 hours in, different lures, different spots, working, trying to get anything to happen. We're seeing heaps of fish come out of the river, but they're just not interested in the lures that we have. So what I thought I might do is I found some nice big bits of paper bark, and these ones are a lot drier than the ones that I used yesterday. So I'm pretty keen to give it a go with the fire steel again. I want to practice with my Swiss Army knife as well. So you can't use the blade of your Swiss Army knife to strike the fire steel, but you can use a saw. So this is what I want to practice. I haven't done much of this before, so Alrighty, so the paper bark's it's still a little bit damp. I've tried to dry it out by the fire, which has still got a few hot coals, but I'm not having much luck, so I'm just going to try my knife and see if I can get more sparks. Okay, so that was 13 minutes of failure. I think what's going on is that the bark, it's still a little bit damp in between the layers. I think that's what's causing it to, once it gets ignited, it goes out very quickly. It's also very humid today, or has been this afternoon, and so that could be having an effect too. So I'm going to keep going. I'm determined to make this work. So I've just put it on top of a rock for a bit more stability, and I've tried to get as many of these loose little flakes as possible. Getting so close. I'm getting flame and getting it to ignite. I just can't get it to start a fire. I think we might have it. So there you go, don't give up. Keep practicing those skills. Perseverance is often key. Now Adam's trying a different fire lighting technique. Again, it's all about practicing. So when you've got time to find the materials and have a go, then that's the way to do it. So what have you got here, Ads?
Xanthoria stem, but I think it's too soft. It doesn't seem to be cutting.
So a Xanthoria stem is a grass tree. They grow here in Australia. And they had this really unique flower stem which grows very tall and straight. And that's the long part of the stick there you can see. It almost looks like a broom handle. So I've got a baseboard made from the same material.
Yeah.
Is that like a flat notch or just a little divot?
Usually start with a divot and it starts cutting in, but I think this stem's too soft to actually start cutting. It's just sort of wearing itself down. Flatness.
So you've just got a really fine little needle point at one end?
It started out as a little cut sort of wedge, which is where you ideally want to be, so like almost like a pencil.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just started with a tiny little notch in the top, and ordinarily that's good enough to get it going.
Yeah, you can see the bottom of it deforming pretty quickly.
Yeah, so it's just chewed it up.
Yeah.
It's not allowing it to cut in on the angle.
Yeah, okay.
Sort of work this edge. So the only edge that's working is the tip.
So the spindle is 40 centimeters long or thereabouts,
yeah.
And
that's just like a cutting of the same piece.
So it's just been flattened on the bottom piece. The hearth has been flattened on the bottom and the top, so it doesn't roll around.
Yeah.
And there's a little divot and then a notch. And
yeah, you cut your notch into it to give the embers a
yep.
place to sort of fall out. Yeah,
yeah,
anyway,
awesome.
Live and learn.
Yeah, live and learn. Anyway, it's probably not going to work today because we haven't got the right material, but yeah, hopefully we can do it in the future. So I haven't showed my water filtration system for a while. And yeah, I've been sort of umming and ahhing over different options and different systems. None of them that I've tried so far have been perfect, but this one's not too bad. I've got a Camel Black Omega 3 litre bladder, I think it is. And on the end of that, I've got a Sawyer mini filter. I've just got a little adapter plug that Camelback make, and then a little bit of, I think it was 4 or 5 mil hose. And that, yeah, that filters the water reasonably quickly. And we've probably done about maybe 10 litres or so. And the water's quite turbid, so we haven't done any pre-screening or filtering or anything. But it still seems to be holding up all right.
That'll get it done.
Defeat declared. Oh, hey guys. Well, it's about 5:45 now, and yeah, just spent a little bit more time fishing, and the fish just are not buying what I'm selling today. So I'm going to make some soup. I've just got the billy on the fire. Adam's still out fishing, so hopefully he has a bit of luck. I certainly didn't have any. We've tried all sorts of things, and yeah, it just hasn't worked for us. So yeah, gonna have some miso soup. That's always good. Need a bit of hot, salty goodness at the moment. So yeah, it feels like it's been a bit of a lazy day. I haven't really done much. I had grand plans of just making random bushcraft stuff or catching a fish and doing a catch and cook. I think that's going to have to wait until until I can actually get some fish that cooperate. Oh well, it's still been a really nice day, and yeah, it's been nice to catch up with a mate and yeah, sit around the fire, spend a bit of time fishing and all that good stuff. But I think it's going to be pretty early night tonight. We've got to really hightail it out of here in the morning, so we've got to be back home by 12 o'clock. We've actually taken a day off work, both of us have. Adam's got something on in the early afternoon, so we've got to probably bail, I think, be walking by 8 o'clock, and it'll be about a couple of, maybe 2.5 hours to get out of here, and then another 1.5 hour drive to get home. So yeah, there's not going to be much time to do anything tomorrow morning. So, but tonight we'll sit around the fire, enjoy nature's TV, and yeah, it'll be good fun. So unfortunately dinner's not as exciting as it was the last 2 nights. We've used up all our beef, and we're now down to continental instant rice. I'm having some tuna. These tuna and salmon sachets, they do tuna and salmon. They're really nifty. It means you're not carrying around tins and stuff, but yeah, they're kind of lightweight and pretty handy. This is a classic hiking food. Lightweight but tasty. This is our 3rd night around the fire, so we've cooked all the interesting food. I don't think much is going to happen tonight, so yeah, I think we might wrap things up here. Like I said, we've got to bail pretty early in the morning, so that's going to yeah, limit much filming as well on the trip out. So I think we'll just focus on a really hard, fast walk out of here. But yeah, just wanted to say thank you again. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you wouldn't mind, if you enjoyed the video, liking it, giving it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to leave one of those too. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this amazing Australian river gorge and a bit of camping time and adventure time. So yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Oh, and thanks, Adam. Thanks for putting up with my my constant shushing to make you quiet.
Always a pleasure.
All right. Guys, yeah, look, I hope you can get out camping soon, and yeah, hopefully you've got some good mates you can get out and have a bit of fun with. So we'll see you next time. Cheers.